Hello, everybody. I'm King Harp, and I'm back. I'm always here, but I'm just coming back after the election and in between some family affairs. Now, I've been watching everybody and going along and, just proxying and promoting my group and the ideology that we have formed at the grassroots and the agenda for black people and descendants of slaves. That is what I am. That is what I'm supposed to do. That is what's gone lacking, tremendously gone lacking. And government has denied the rights and the what's supposed to be given to descendants of slaves politically. And one main thing that can soup all that up is protected class. When a person has protected class citizenship, they have a way to incentives and opportunities that keep them from being in dire situation in terms of politics. They have it, and it's a protection from the overhead, which gives opportunity to groups which they deserve in the place which they live in. And it keeps you away from provost, which causes a lot of crime and killings, and it keeps you from being exploited by groups if they want to for the worst situation. It keeps you from being in that situation for the greater good by government power in terms of who you are. So we understand that the laws have not and the politicians have not catered to us in good faith in terms of who we are and what should happen. Now, we do see now that most black people, a lot of black people got out and elected Joe Biden as president. I want to talk about the difference in the mass of black people and the grassroots. The difference in the mass of black people who went out, and gave their vote for nothing, do not understand politics. They're political neophytes. And the difference in this is they're catering to something which they don't understand and they think they do. The difference in us and them is we are now looking at the science of politics. There's a science, not just an idea, not just a narrative. There's a real science in how this works. And what we're doing is zeroed into that, and we're studying it, and we're beginning to be effective in it. We're moving effectively. Now, we do understand that there was a lot of black people which were concerned about the Trump administration and the racist, bold races that basically got emboldened by the president, in which they were bold. And there's a lot of people that grabbed the ideology that, they were now in control because the president kind of had a face of racism because emboldening. However, the things that were going on were concerning black people been going on in the country. It didn't just start. It was even worse than that. So what we did is looked at the science and choose to weigh it out and see what happens. They actually, the political party in government, the Democrat Party, government itself actually finessed the minds of black people by saying that you should be concerned about the races in the White House to put another one in the White House that's behind paper and that has changed the element in black communities with a bill that's been very old, mass incarceration, and it cost Joe Biden $13 billion to implement that, which Clinton apologized, in which a lot of our people and black people and the Congressional Black Caucus, James Clyburn, and the rest of them agreed with this bill because we were a docile people that were not a people of anchored in power. We were docile. We don't have power. We didn't get the 40 acres and a mule. We don't trade in business, camaraderie. We don't think on those levels in political exchanges and business. We seem to think people are doing something for us by paying us attention or dressing like us or talking like us or trying to eat our food or coming to our fish fry and pandering to us. We don't understand the science of politics. They have really drilled that in with us, and we've been laying in the space. And what we are doing at the grassroots is choosing to talk these points and wake our people up and let them know that you are a giant, a sleeping giant, and you're to stand next to the rest of the giants and be treated fairly in terms of what you're owed. And we are owed a reparation in terms of our suffering and the things that were not exchanged upon us that is due to us by constitutional right and value. And that is our inheritance so that we can be tax exempt like groups that are here. The United States have put groups in this place because this is what the country does. It hasn't happened for us because nobody has stood to implement the laws in terms of us or the Constitution in terms of us. And this is ridiculous. And they are afraid that we may come together and get that done so that they don't have fun continuing on over our heads and using immigrants, also putting them and employing them over us in our country of origin. We're not Africans. We're descendants of slaves. We are black people. We choose to say that. That's what we are. We're black people. And we are 40 million of us in the country who've been here 300 years or more and enslavement and entrapment. And we were sent here to be the apparatus of wealth to build the country and its wealth. And there was a dollar sign on every soul so that we can, and they traded for years where these people were filthily wealthy in their communities off our bodies and our lives. And we suffered for it for centuries. And then we engineered the country, not just build it by hand. We died for it. We fought in wars. And we don't have any agenda in terms of government. We don't have any anchoring in terms of government for protected class, in terms of anything. We got Jews here sitting behind all kind of protected class. They gave a blank check one time to the Jews. We got people here that's on DACA, a multi-million, billion-dollar anchoring for them to be safe in their communities. That's a reparation. We got people here that are getting all kinds of incentives and using these incentives. East Indians running gas stations and different things. People have protections from government where now the state and government says and federal says these people are protected. The police get the memo. So they don't shoot them down in the street like dogs because the United States has put a value upon them. That's what we're doing. And we wanted that to begin somewhere. Joe Biden has been the epitome of an opponent to black people. He has been the epitome of racism. He drew up a bill that will kill us. And Obama gave DACA. Obama gave reparations. Obama gave the Indians things. He went along with the same packages that everybody's done. And black people put him in office. We went out and massively done it. Now, one thing I want to mention, and it's another reason why I wanted to do this talk, is to say that I've seen President Obama on the Breakfast Club. President Obama is studying, he's stuttering, going around pandering and talking points when Charlemagne the God is asking him questions about why and what black people think that you've done nothing for them. He do not have a clear answer. That's basically common sense. But we continue to tell ourselves that, oh, maybe it's different because it hurts for you to know that you have been used by a face that looks like you. I have people in my family, people in my friendship arena where they are hurt when I give information that they cannot argue with these facts. They're heartbroken and they turn around and they lie for the people. These people in my family, my friends, turn around and lie for Obama and everything just to soothe their own hearts. But the President Obama have left black people in dire situation without giving policy, without beginning a protection, because we are sitting ducks in terms of what the country is and what they have allowed groups to do in the country. Black people getting shot by the police, don't have any opportunities to business, no tax exempts. We're not coming from a power anchor where we have land we can trade, put Walmart on it, businesses, apartment buildings and trade and business camaraderie, having an anchor of power and power sector, no protected class. The government won't cut a check so that we can begin to, so the country itself can begin to repent for what has happened in terms of black people, where we have been the sole backbone and the inside guts of this wealthy nation throughout slavery, and then fighting wars to get the laws changed that immigrants benefit from. Those are our laws. Obama is our Frankenstein, but he's not our legacy. He used us to be inside power, to be the top tier in power, but yet did not implement anything for us. He also used our tax dollars to protect groups that should not even be here. Obama left us to die in dire situation, and black folks don't want to hear that. Now we got people going around shaking their tails out in the street that done voted Joe Biden in, thinking it's a better way because he's, not so noisy as President Donald Trump. However, he's a lot more effective in terms of white supremacy. And Kamala Harris, Kamala Cop Harris locking up black people, making black people work for free, fighting fires in California like prison and slavery, implementing laws that disproportionately affect black people in a negative way. And now they're up there with the faces of benevolence, and they are not looking right when I look at them. But other black people that are not grassroots, well, we all should be going to the grassroots, are massively going blind in their political neophytes and do not understand politics. This is very dangerous. And we are now shouting out to come and hear. And we will tell you about yourself, and you will get eloquently pulled apart. Now black people are calling Joe Biden on the phone, looking for policy, looking for anchoring in certain cabinet spaces, and he's not returning their calls. Well, that's exactly what he's supposed to do. He's always done that. That's effective for him, not for you. But you voted him in because we have bought into a illusion, black people. We bought into a narrative that they have been using effectively with us. That is the benign neglect. They tell us things. They pander to our ways. Had Kamala Harris wearing Chuck Taylors and stuff. That was offensive to me. They're pandering to us. Obama going around shooting a three-pointer at a basketball goal through the hoop saying, this is what I do. Black men shoot basketball. Joe Biden couldn't even do it. He's standing on the side. Nobody's talking to us. Joe Biden has promised immigration things. He's promised to fix Puerto Rico. He's promised amnesty. He's promised to let 500,000 Asians, Indian Asians, Kamala Harris people, amnesty. While they owning businesses over our head at our communities, and we're trapped in concentration camps damn near. And no access to business camaraderie and protections. And they are getting ready to let these people become full Americans over our head without us being protected. And they are anchored in power over us. They're beginning to exchange with banks. They have banks, anchored in banks, tax exempt. They are considered to be people and protected. And Obama implemented a program, multi-million, billion-dollar program that our tax dollars go into. As descendants of slaves, we put him in office, and he did not do one thing for black people. We don't need him to disproportionately help us. We needed him to do something for us like other groups have done something. DACA was for immigrants and them only. The reparation the Jews get was for the Holocaust and they're solely only. It's like a religion, their own space. The Indians picking up checks, tax exempt, that this land was theirs, they're getting that. But we were brought here and killed and hung. Women use as bed winches, but we don't have any kind of government incentive that protects us and that gives the overseers and the law enforcement memo that we are important people to be made a brand. Tax exempt. So we can now begin to fix and now begin to correct this dire situation that we are anchored to in terms of a group. And this is a strategy. We was using our vote as a strategy. We would have rather kept Trump so that at least maybe he would have implemented the platinum plan or something. We're gonna make you focus on us. See, it's a chessboard. Joe Biden ain't focusing on us, and then Mitch McConnell wasn't gonna pass anything concerning us. He said him and Obama had something in common in the House of Representatives when he was speaking. That both of them were slaveholders. Both their ancestors were slaveholders, and they both disagree with reparations. Obama told Dr. Claude Anderson he was not going to give reparations and wasn't going to talk about it, and he didn't. But he needed our vote, and we put him in office. You're supposed to get an exchange for your vote. That is the very reason why Eva Longoria was talking about the Latino women was the real heroines in the vote when she lied on TV. Because she wanted to pander to our government. And black women was not saying black women did not really go out and vote. It was the Latino. It was the Latino. She was lying to pander to the government and saying, she was going to say, since we put you in office, this is what we want. That's what James Clyburn was supposed to say. And he did not say that. They asked James Clyburn, what do you want for your vote? He chuckled. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing for my vote. What are you talking about? I'm past the promise. All I want is my kids to have a good future. He was speaking for all of us. He's a politician. That's one of the most major politicians as a black person. When you open your mouth in the political arena, you're talking for all of us. We're his children. But we now disown him in terms of his aura, in terms of his ideology, in terms of his he's a stepping, fetching, stepping. I mean, We cannot pander to that. That's very dangerous. And no, they're not going to like it, and it's going to continue to go. So black people, what we're saying is wake up and do government and do politics and listen to what we're saying and stop trying to run and do what you've been doing and expecting something different to happen. That's not going to happen. That's what we're saying today. That's what we're saying today. We understand the science of it. I had somebody tell me the other day that I just listened to them. They wanted to win the talking point, so I let them. But I knew everything that they were saying and whether it was right or wrong, and I had a rebuttal for it, and I didn't even give it because it was timeless. It didn't matter. They had made up in their mind that they were going to convince me that the Democrat had something good going on. And I chose not to give it a talking point because I was giving pearls to swines. This is how hard it's been for us. I had to now do that. Now, I'm going to come back to that person and situation and let them know when it's time that I understood that you were terribly wrong. But I did not have the time or the energy to basically go in a babble with you about something that's clearly affecting you and I both. It's not going to hurt anybody that we correct ourselves. It's not going to hurt white people or anybody else that we correct ourselves, but it will send a message, and it will expose, and it will put us in spaces that they don't want us to be in. A lot of them. But it doesn't matter what they want. We don't deserve to be on the bottom and impoverished because we've been denied and we've been basically denied something that's owed to us. Government corrections, government anchoring, constitutional right and value, and abandoned by our blood sacrifice and the things we did for this great nation. Thank you for joining me. This is Harp, our King Harp. I will come back and do another sound bite. As I always state to the United States government, cut the check. Thank you for joining me.